Gotta stay hydrated. We know that. We know you gotta stay hydrated. I'll be honest, I don't think it's gonna sell for much, but we've got a hat in there. And oh yeah, whole bunch of key cards.
Oh my God, you're stacked.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
Very good day. Very good day to be here as well. I bet you must be excited as well.
Oh, today is gonna be hopefully a great day for everyone of Tarkov. It's a brand new game mode. We're now moving into more of an esports side of things, away from the traditional kind of solo, go your own pace. You have to play to the pace of who you're against now. This is esports.
Indeed, for sure. And what's the most thing you are looking forward to in this whole weekend with this competitive setting for Arena, with the prize pool as well?
I'll be honest, I kind of want to figure out what's a good play from a bad play. I think that's going to be really difficult today. I'm sure me and Giga, we were talking, how do we know who's actually a good team? And I think that's going to be interesting to see how it stacks up. And we'll probably have a good idea at the end of this.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you two being on the analyst desk, we'll pick your brains later on for all the presets that we have as well, the maps that we have as well. Anything you can tell us maybe on that already, Giga, about those presets, about the maps we'll have?
Yeah, I think that a lot of the maps are really small compared to what we see in the base game, and so it's going to favor aggression and kits that are just much more close range. But also, the way that the presets are put together, it's not the usual kits that you see in the game. You don't really get to choose what you have, and it's pros and cons for both. So whether you have grenades or stims or not, depending on which ammo you've got, like there's so many things you have to think about because you can't get everything that you want within the presets that are there. So that's going to be the hard thing for the teams to choose how to balance those
Traditionally,
things together.
Traditionally, they're dressed like you, isn't it? If you go into a game, that's usually what you run in with.
Indeed, yeah, you're both looking very good, as if you belong here right on the stage. But of course, we have us as the analyst desk. We also need two casters to be able to talk us through the game when it's happening live on the screen. And our first caster to do so today will be Hap. You also brought your kit and everything with you. You feeling excited for today?
Brought everything with me. Very excited to get going. New discipline we're going to be seeing. Different kind of Tarkov than what we usually have. Very exciting.
Indeed, for sure. Definitely super exciting, everything that's going to happen ahead of us in this whole weekend. But to complete our casting booth rather, and to have your colleague on the stage as well, joining us, that will be Tolisma, and he's joining us on the stage as well right now.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. It's good to see you. You've obviously worked together quite a few times. You get to work together again today and this whole weekend. How excited are you for that?
Well, I first was very excited to be here with Hap, and then I saw the venue was even more excited because this is probably one of the best things we've ever been at. And I'm really stoked to see what we will see in this completely new game that's just not released yet to the public.
Exactly, yeah. I'm glad you spoke about everything that we see behind us, the whole stage. As you can see, the RPC set up. Our teams are getting ready backstage to make sure that they are ready for the games that we have ahead of ourselves today and this whole weekend. But indeed, the stage looking good. There's tiny little details. You all have details on you as well regarding, Tarkov in general. Would you like to explain how you are dressed today, what you've got up with you?
Yeah, so this is the classic idea rig. It's the perfect thing for the budget PMC going into Raid. You've got the 4 pouches, 2x1, so you can fit everything that you need in. 2 spare mags, a piece of med if you want to, and that's a water bottle and the magazine right here. So, we've seen this in the iconic Raid series BSG put together. I think this is the one that we see in that show, so it's an honor to be wearing it.
I love it. I love the rig. It's very good. You've had a bit of a chance already as well. Do you want to add anything to that?
We've got obviously classic jacket. How can you not love this? Obviously hat. I've stole this off somebody with an actual gun. I think that's pretty clear to see in terms of what I've ran in with. And yeah, like everything else, just got the goodies. Obviously, the key cards were great to have. So I'm probably richest here, which I think that's always a good start.
All I have is like a bit of a snack, so I don't really have that much. I have a jacket. That's all I can bring today. But you are dressed as well.
What are you without a snack, Anne?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the brightest thing. Yeah, I don't have too much in my pockets apart from a baklava because I just don't want to get recognized. And Demo actually said you seem like you're ready to go for a run, and I'm running from this guy because he's beefed up.
You have a full-on kit. You brought everything with you yourself as well.
I brought some stuff with myself as well, of course, but I see that USAC hat right there he stole. I think we're going to have to settle that later.
This is yours.
Okay, before this goes into any of this messing around or arguing,
no. The weapons.
Before this goes into any arguing, I'm going to send you guys off to the caster desk. You can go ready and get ready for the game that'll be ahead of us very shortly. So thank you for joining us on the stage, and you can go get ready at the caster desk.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
quiet. No more arguing, please, today.
He started it.
No, I'm gonna try and keep you two calm with each other because we need to be sitting pretty close to each other on that caster analyst desk later today. But of course, as you mentioned, an action-packed weekend ahead of us, plenty of games. So it's time to introduce you about how this weekend is going to look like. Today we will start with a best-of-1 round-robin group stage. So we have teams that will all compete against each other in this best-of-1 format. As you can see on the screen, this is what our tournament will be looking like for today and the beginning of tomorrow. And then the top 4 of our group stage will advance onto the playoffs bracket. For the top 2, that is a double elimination bracket. If you're 3 and 4, you have one shot, and if you lose it, you are out of the tournament. These are best of 3 games. And then when we do get to our grand finals on Sunday, that will be a best of 5. And that demo has the very first potential of all 5 maps in play.
Yeah, well, obviously it depends on if it's going to be 2-2 and then we go into the final map. I think it's a good format. The fact that every team plays against every team, it's going to showcase a lot of different matchups, and nobody can really complain as well. You've had your chance against everyone. You can't say, oh, they got an easy side.
Vreau să-l trăiesc până... de seară ca să reglez programul, că nu se mai poate.
And these teams have had some practice with Arena, and they're maybe familiar with the maps. But then again, you can also play a sneaky game in the map Vita if you want, Giga.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see how they play together and against each other, because yeah, they've been doing some scrims and stuff, but the history is so short. The teams are brand new, you know, from all sorts of different disciplines, and it's going to be interesting to see which maps they kind of prefer and which they don't. I mean, we'll see about Sawmill. I'm not sure if Sawmill's going to get played that early from some feedback that I've seen from other people, but we'll just have to see. It's everything to play for.
A
sneaky little game of chicken to be played with that map to try and sneak it through, because it plays so differently from the rest, being so open.
Indeed, yeah, you mentioned Sawmill briefly. There's 5 maps, as we said. We'll get into the details of those maps later. Those maps that have different objectives, of course, and whole different layouts. You mentioned Sawmill's outside. There's some inside maps as well. But we do have 7 games today, so we can pull up our schedule once again to see what is ahead of us, because teams are playing either, I think, 3 or 2 games today, and then a few more games of that group stage tomorrow before they go on to potentially that bracket of the best of 3 situation later. We'll start out with Virtus Pro in a sense, some teams that you might be familiar with, you might have seen, for example, on the server, but we will show you what teams we have, because you've seen our schedule. Now it's time to introduce you to the teams that will be playing in this tournament. And as you mentioned, it is new. All these teams they just got together. Maybe they have some experience of playing with each other in Tarkov, maybe some experience playing with each other in other esports, but maybe you've seen some players on the server as well, Giga?
Yeah, this is the thing. It's, I mean, especially our first matchup is going to be super interesting, because I think those are the ones where we've got majority of players. It's kind of Team Rainbow Six.
Bag update pe Tarkov apare. Neața Gabi, neața. N-am dormit deloc să mă bată mama. Oare bagare n-au? La noi? Băi, mă scuzați, dar acum, fără nicio Caterinca, nu o să dau webcam nici dacă vreți. Deci nu am dormit toată noaptea, vreau să-mi reglez somnul, să mă bag și eu să dorm ca omul noaptea. Efectiv, numai la orele astea mă băga la somn și nu e deloc ok. Voi ce faceți, Gabi? Ce faci? Cum ești?
Which is always nice for me and you, Giga. So there might be bias, we don't know. But yeah, it's just going to be exciting to see how everyone's going to be playing in such a new environment where you will have to communicate, you will have to speak. You just can't sit in a bush or sit somewhere in a lamppost waiting for someone to come and look a bunch of games. You should know who I'm referencing. No.
Abia m-am trezit, uite ce viață de oameni, normal. Dar pe acum vine arena, vine wipe-ul nou și tot iar o să-mi fut programul. Mă dorim pe la 3-4. E bine egal. E bine. O secundă, revin și imediat mă duc să-mi iau un pachet de țigări, că nu mai am țigări. 10 secunde să până apoi.
They can do that job, I think support staff as well. they've got a guy in there called Razor GM. He's a legend in my eyes. So I think having that experience is going to be second to none.
You know what? We'll get them on the stage for you. That'll be a good thing to do. I mean, you talked about Virtus Pro, how do you have experience in these other games? But let's make sure we get them to the stage as well. Your very first team in our matchup today is
Dar abia aștept să vedem cum o fi arena asta. Nu știu dacă prinde și noi primul val. Au anunțat de data. Bă, nu au anunțat nimic. De asta mor și eu pe ei. Nu au anunțat nimic. Au anunțat acum că... Ce este mai complex? Asta e curios și ce va fi. Au anunțat acum că o să fie un update. Fac ceva update și raidurile o să găsească raid mai greu cu 10 minute sau ceva de genul. Cam nu știu ce o să se întâmple. Cine știe ce update ne mai bagă. Dar eu unul tind să cred că nu o să dea drumul la arenă până nu bagă și wipe-ul nou. Să se lege cumva între ele.
Today, but of course they need an opponent to play against. They need another team on the other side. You mentioned it briefly, you know, they have some experience in other esports. They just got back from playing another tournament, actually. So the other team joining us today on stage is Ascent.
La fix parcă în 5 minute începe primul meci, dacă nu mă înșel. Se aude prea tare cumva, Gabi? Sau se aude prea încet? Ok, super. Ia uite că intră jucători în sală. Numai 1 și 1, numai bucăți. Da, unde e Nikita?
I mean, we got them on stage. They still need to make sure that they are ready for the whole game, that they set themselves up, they do get ready. But let's talk about these two teams in detail a little bit more. And you talked about VP a lot already, so we'll touch up on them first as well. You mentioned their experience in other competitive games as well. So do you think that might give them a little bit of an advantage coming into this game as well?
Dar ce vrea să fie aia din joc, poșeta aia?
The LAN experience is just a bit different than playing at home, and you know the Tarkov community. If you're a Tarkov main and you played in community tournaments,
deja nu anticipezi mai bun, nu numai tu, nu numai tu. Cred că toți ne dorim asta, toți jucătorii legiți ne dorim asta.
Playing on a computer that's not your own, like sure you can bring your own peripherals, but it's different. It's the seats at a different height and the temperature's different in the room, and it's just not the same. There's a crowd in front of you, which is what a lot of the players in our community at least maybe aren't used to.
So 20 milioane seara.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's look at the players on this roster for Virtus Pro as well, because I'm pretty sure some names will.
Da, păi să nu-ți pare rău, că imediat vine wipe-ul și...
Yeah, so you know, VP, I think mainly got guys from your seed, actually from Rainbow Six.
my town,
yeah. But you know, we have two guys from the Tarkov community as well, Hard and Magic, and you know, in particular, those guys are very, very good. And you know, I think Hard was one of the top 3 within the Pescalese Punisher tournament. So
TG, FMX, Magic și Hard.
I think that's what you need. You need to have those guys who have been here since day one, who have studied this game so in depth. Then you bring in these guys who, sure, maybe they haven't been playing the game as long as the other ones, but the experience they get from other aspects of playing esports, that will be invaluable.
Yeah.
For sure, and indeed on Ascend as well. I mean, I touched upon it very lightly, but they literally just got back from playing another tournament in Thailand, then had to go home, no time to rest, had to immediately get back into the prep for this tournament demo.
Checky scale.
They know what they need to do. They're going to come in here. It's their first time. The expectations, well, there really isn't any. It's the first time. What are you supposed to expect at this stage? So these guys just go out there, have fun, play your Tarkov, play it well, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, we got 2 players that play competitively another game, plus their coach, and 2 content creators from Escape from Tarkov. So that's the composition of this team here.
Content
for
creator,
Ascent. What are you looking
sau...
forward to most for Ascent?
Nu m-ar fi chemat și pe mine să vin...
I'm looking forward to just seeing how
vin
they
la
play
turneu.
together, how they mesh those 2 styles from 2 different games and from 2 different disciplines together and form a good team. Because, you know, Tarkov's a finicky game sometimes. It's got very specific mechanics, just even about movement and just little things about the way that inertia works and, you know, how you can peek properly and all of that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's pretty much a lot for us to discuss still, but to make sure that our teams do get ready as well, we'll give them a short break and we'll go back. We will go get ready on the analyst desk as well. We'll head to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you.
Băi, dar altă de asta mai e așa, n-a găsit și Nikita, stau numai balena asta. Cu prezentatoare mai așa, mai de Doamne ajută. Mai să-ți fure ochii. Cât e suma pe care o dă? $100.000. Din ce am înțeles, parcă 100.000. Te băieți acolo pe spate, fac setări, fac tot ce trebuie. Într-un minut. Parcă așa am înțeles, dacă nu mă șel, 100.000, din care 50.000 ia prima echipă, care iese locul 1. Sper că am înțeles bine. Welcome to Arena. Mai când gata că nu e bine. Patru, 3, 2, 1, haide! Hai că sunteți numărul 1 pe sunet.
I think you're off. I think we're on, but I think you might be off.
That's unfortunate.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Now I have a voice. Very
You're gonna have to do that again.
Yeah, I'll do it again. But we touched upon the details for these teams. Now it's time to make sure that you also know what map we will be playing, because as we said, there are 5 maps for Tarkov Arena that we have in this whole weekend, and we do see the map veto ahead of us. We have 2 bans for each teams, of course, and then we end up on Bull. Any first thoughts on this map?
What a shocker, Sawmill's been banned.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we said, is it going to be a game of chicken? Will both teams just refuse to ban it because they think the other team's going to ban it? Whenever we went there, you know, Sawmill's gone. We're going to go to Bull. I think it's probably what we expected to see in terms of a little bit more basic of a map.
I think so. I mean, it's interesting as a choice because it is one of the slightly bigger ones and a little bit more open than the others. But, you know, I guess it sort of plays more into the standard Tarkov style just because of the way the cover is. It's not as tight.
That's what I was going to say. The cover, there's a lot of it. So in terms of kind of predictable nade positions that you might get on maps like Air Pit, for example, where there's a whole lot of cover, you're kind of restricted to like a shot, and then there's a massive open bit, so you're kind of stuck. This will let you maneuver a lot better around the map.
Yeah, exactly. It gives the teams a lot of flexibility to kind of do what they want and play into, just what they're used to. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, to go back to the very basics of Tarkov Arena, right? We have this 30-minute phase or 1 minute 30 phase of trying to eliminate the enemy team. If that doesn't work, you have, for this specific map, 2 objectives that will unlock. You get to secure them. You have 45 seconds to do so. You need 7 seconds to secure them. If that doesn't work, the cleanup crew comes in. Potentially something else. And we do also have, hopefully soon, a preset selection kit. Because we talked about the map, we talked about how the game is going to work in general. We also have these presets. It is different than the actual Tarkov experience, as you mentioned, Giga.
Exactly. You know, you don't get to pick exactly what you want in these presets. They are the varied pieces of equipment across them. So you have to just like pick and choose and try to cover the weak spots off with other players. And I think we're going to see a developing meta of people even sharing kit potentially from one preset to another, because that's something that we've not really seen or thought about. The possibilities are endless.
Make one guy absolutely stacked, and everyone else has just got nothing on.
I mean, it's an option. You can do it.
Got Juggernaut and everyone else. You know, it could happen. It could. Yeah. But will it happen? I don't think they're that clever. I don't know. I don't think they're that clever just yet.
We will see. We will see. But the early rounds have got
arată mai bine asta în spatele catedrei, să zicem așa.
Tiers 3 and 4 to start, so it's going to be lower.
We'll have a look at the preset selection, obviously, as well for our characters in the game. We will go into game, actually, immediately, so we'll give it over to our casters, Hap and Toldersma, and they'll take it away for our very first game today between Virtus.pro and Ascent.
Much, and we're gonna get going on our first match already, and what a match it's going to be. It's gonna be none other than Ascent taking on a Virtus.pro, and Hap, I think we're quite happy and hyped for this one.
I am very hyped to get going. It is going to be the first competitive kind of gameplay that we will be seeing here, and you know, we've been theorizing on how things could go, but we've really just come to the conclusion that we don't know.
We can't
tell.
No.
It's just wait and see.
We sat in the hotel bar yesterday. We're just talking about, well, we might think they will do this, they might do that, they might do that, but we just have absolutely no clue. With the game still not being open to the public, not even being in beta publicly available, you just don't have the target audience, or at least the population, to see how people will play. Either they might rush crazy and it might work against one team, it might not work against the other.
No.
And that's like the big question we have. We've seen some scrims, we've played with some of the players in the early access, but we just have no clue how they will actually work it out into a real.
Chiar așa, stare curios ce circ o să iasă, adică nu au avut timp să se joace, cred, prea mult, ce strategie o să abordeze, habar nu am.
Showcased right now with all presets out there. It is that thin selection that will be going through very first. And that also means that, you know, after this event, we'll have an established meta for this event.
Yes, and it will change.
Game comes out, everybody else is going to be playing it, realize, oh, this works way better. Boom, new meta's there. So I think there's going to be a lot of like changes from like the early events to later, like any esport events goes through. But it's really interesting to really monitor that and follow that.
And you said like when the game comes out, and we have absolutely no clue, because a lot of people will be watching and wanting us to tell you, but we actually have no clue when it will come out. They said early December. It's still early December. I believe still in January, it might be early December. That's what I've heard in the news. But it's going to be very interesting to see what the first game will bring. VP, we know. We have a little bit of history in different esports titles, and a lot of these guys come from that. But they also have a little bit of support with Magic and Hard being very strong in the ETF scene already.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, you have two players that are good at EFT. They have won different kind of tournaments, different kind of challenges. Whereas you have like a core of three that has been active in one of the esports I'm coming from. And, you know, they qualified for the World Championships over there. They know what it's like to be in a structured kind of setting. And they might be able to translate that now as well towards these, you know, the newer players, the players that are really good at EFT, but haven't really been in the big team format yet, playing on a stage. So there's going to be a bit of experience exchange there.
It might be the perfect recipe. You never know, as we hear some groaning in the background, so that might mean that we're gonna get into the game. The first game of this tournament, and the first map will be Bowl. Hap, it's happening.
It is going to be happening. I'm very excited to get going. And again, we don't know. It might be that in the first minute and a half, game's over, or at least the round's over, but it might also be that it's going down to the
ce facem mână la camera aia, mâncați și tremură toată camera.
Who's going to be taking that first round away.
Yeah, the big question for us is, will teams rush, or will another team then also just be very on the campy side, just to wait and see what the other team will do, just hold lines of fire? We try to find certain angles, but it's so dependent on how teams will play. And the interesting thing is from Ascent as well, they have a lot of experience in competitive gaming as well. They came from a different game, different world championship, then went on full practice mode when they got the early access, when they were able to play Arena. And I'm curious to see if they will be able to translate that into words this game already, or if it's going to be a little bit of a workup, because we have a lot of games today.
That's it. There's going to be loads of games today, tomorrow, and of course on the Sunday as well, to decide who is going to be the champion of this very first tournament. And we are going to be, you know, getting all different kinds of strategies for this map evolve throughout the event, as we're quickly going to be highlighting Ball again, just to see exactly where we will be taking place. As Giga mentioned before, it is an open map, plays a bit more into the usual Tarkov style. There's 2 capture points.
Haideți cu meciul ăla odată.
Once they come online, you need to capture them. 7 seconds to do so, which means they actually need to get a move on as soon as someone's capturing. You cannot just wait until he's moving away from that direction. You cannot just hold them off. As soon as they're in, you need to challenge them.
And the interesting thing is, it's really based on perspective how long or short it takes. If you're on the outside and the enemy team is trying to capture the point, you really have to move fast. 7 seconds isn't that long, and they can still shoot you regardless what you are doing at the same time as well. In other titles, people are usually, well, incapacitated by, for instance, a bomb or a diffuser that they have to take out. But here, you can still fire, you can fight for your life, and you just have a hunch where the players might come from. It is your time to shine. Hap, what's the most amount of kills we'll be seeing? That's one question that I have.
I think we're going to be seeing 18 kills. 18?
I've actually already lived through a 23.
Oh, have you lived through?
I've played with Into the Breach a little bit on a little bit of practice match, and Ghost is actually insane. He goes wild. He had 23 kills, and it just seemed almost too easy for him. I was just there running away, happy I got a kill, and then in the meantime, you just see the kill feed just popping up already. I'm like, okay. And we played 3v5, we won. Or at least we won, Ghost won.
Yeah, you were just there.
I was just there.
Enjoying it.
I was just there, indeed. You have to give respect to those who deserve.
No, I totally get that. But the thing is now as well, we're going to have 5 pro players against 5 pro players. So there's still, I'm going to say now, there's still the opportunity someone's going to get smacked by like some angle they didn't know existed, or, you know, people will keep these things to themselves up until the big stage, up until it matters. So expect to see all kinds of spicy stuff later.
But then the question is, like, would they already want to throw it out here, or do they just want to test the water? Because it's just one game.
That's it, right? For now, you want to test the water. What we do expect, though, is that we see the more advanced stuff come out when elimination is on the line.
Oh, yes.
So that is something to keep in mind for all of you watching. It is going to be evolving throughout the tournament, and it is going to be better.
Doamne, dar ce mulți spectatori ăștia în sală.
It's not released yet, but I know that there's a lot of people in the Twitch chat who are really interested in knowing what's Arena about. We've been able to get early access because we're spoiled brats, as you might see, and we've been able to dive into it a little bit. Of course, you know, EFT is a beautiful game, realistic, scavenging, trying to get all the loot you want and make sure that.
Or you're a Giga Chat running labs all the time, just shooting everybody that comes through. It's 2 ways to it, right? So
we expect the running on labs,
and then you have Arena, and suddenly all you've learned about the looting, the beautiful stuff you can grab from everywhere, it's just gone, because now you're in a 5v5, a 5v5 ultra-realistic shooter, trying to find out who's the best. And we don't know who's the best just yet. It will show right here, but maybe you will be the best as well when the game comes out. Nobody knows when, but it will come out one day. One day.
I think it's important to mention, though, that all the default mechanics
nimeni nu știe când o să vină Arena.
Hai, bă. The armor classes for your vests. You have the HP on there.
It's a literal translation from the game.
It's a literal translation. You have the helmet, but you also have the bullets on the other side. And your preset selection is very important in there, because if you choose a certain kit because it has a good gun, it might not have the best armor.
Yeah.
If you do it the other way around, you might be able to pen the other people coming through. You need to mech dump to get that kill. So it is a bit of give and take, and that's why we had on the analyst desk a little bit earlier. Maybe they're just going to make one chat, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the best player in the group is going to get all the goodies, and he's just going to run through and kill everybody.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, some kits do have grenades. Some kits trade out a grenade for a better gun or better armor. So it's going to be really dependent on your playstyle as well, what you want to put in your kit, or at least grab that preset.
Mă, ce se joacă cu vocile lor, frate.
In the first bit of the tournament will have certain limited
Băi, așa ceva. La pregătit sunt ăștia. Acum 3 minute îi tremura lui ăsta mâna pe cameră de...
Yeah, that's it. It will progress throughout the tournament. You can see more and more and more as we go on. And once we start off at the best of ones now, that's going to be changing as well. It's going to be changing to best of threes at some point. Maybe even, if we're feeling spicy, best of 5 in the end. Who knows? So, again, it is just a start. These teams are for the first time ever going up in an actual competitive experience against one another, because scrims are different than the actual competitive game. Scrims, you try some things, but don't go through the full extent. You don't want to give away everything you can do. There's also no pressure, which is a huge one as well, but now everything is on the line. Not directly yet because it's group stages, but you want to start this.
You say everything's on the line, but we're on LAN-HAP, so that's a little bit different. But of course, that also changes the way people feel about it. Luckily, they were able to practice here yesterday as well, have warm-up rooms, so they can still practice. They have a separate area where they can play just to make sure they're having everything set and ready to perform at their utmost best. But as you said, even in scrims, it's different because you don't want to show everything. You might have found a great line. Do you want to practice it against another team? No. You want to practice it in a custom lobby against your teammates. Because if you want to show it in a scrim, they might be like, wait, how did they do it? Try to find it out themselves. You lose your advantage already. But then again, you might not know if it will actually work in a competitive setting.
Destul de ciudat modul ăsta lor de a alege, nu știu, niște persoane, niște echipe să facă practice când nimeni nu are acces. Nu știu ce să zic. Un pic aiurea. Adică sunt sigur că sunt mult mai multe talente care ar fi mult mai buni decât ăștia. Și ar performa mult mai bine decât unii din ei.
And even in 2v2, you can still find out certain timings, certain lines of sight. But then, of course, it also depends on what kind of kit do people bring.
Dar de ce trag așa de timp? Ce vor ei să facă în... Acum își fac încălzirea sau ce?
Yeah, that is going to be the big question, and they're already started, as you can see. We see a bit of a mix of weapons. Some SMG, the first person are ready to go down. As Chris is just trying to hold it off. We see Rask.
S-a făcut un kill deja.
It's a good start for VP.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be 5v3 in their favor. Rask moving up closely to the chopper and trying to get a little bit of an angle, cheeky angle here via the window and the barrels. If someone runs in, well, they might be done for. A little bit of damage already being put in, and these are the angles.
Dar un pic la creier ăsta n-am apucat să tragă.
We try to play the game, but we don't have the time to look into all of these kinds of small little things as Sentry's trying to play the long game hard. Again with a frag, and Magic as well leaves only Chris alive. 1v4 and time is running out, so most likely one of the VP players will go to the objective.
It's interesting to see how VP all have chosen the same kit. Well, we have a bit of that difference between the Ascend squad. So maybe VP, you know, opting to not go for any helmets here. Quick stim being used by Chris to get himself back into it. Firing off some rounds, but you know, in 10 seconds, the next phase of this round will start as a grenade just blows him up in the first round.
I was so curious to see if we would see any nade kills today. The first round makes me really happy. But you see that VP is already going for that very aggressive playstyle. They just want to be up front. And the kit they're using also seems to be quite favored on the Sense side, but they still want to balance things out a little bit. On this map, of course, there's long lines of sight, but you see that VP is trying to just be as close as can be, so maybe that long-range game might just not work in their favor.
And as they're rushing through, trying to take some quick early points of advantage here. A grenade comes out from Terratex. He's hoping to find someone with it. It's just going to go off, and no one's even damaged by it. 1 minute 10 left on this phase, and almost losing his life right there. His armor's definitely being shot up by Hard. And as they're trying to cut these corners to find some early engagements, they definitely have some information they can use.
Yeah, communication is also key because, of course, as you might understand, there's no name tags above. It's only the color band on the arm that tells you if it's a friend or a foe. And if you don't notice it fast enough, you might be in trouble with your teammate. They might throw in a punch or two. At least currently, no deaths at this moment, Ascent surviving, but positions known, players bleeding, and that, of course, doesn't help either.
Just quickly healing back up that thorax to make sure he's able to go into the fight fully. I'm not sure if that was the DMR that just went off and actually managed to get a shot off. There's definitely quite some rounds being fired right now. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. We're soon headed into the next phase as Koa will take down WTG.
Păi, dar nu prinde și noi o scenă când bate ceva, frate.
Currently now in a better place, but 10 seconds left and they have to move to the objective. And Hap, of course, if you don't take the objective, what then happens?
Well, there is going to be a nice crew coming up to try and clean you up. So it's not only going to be the attackers you need to be worrying about as Koa as it gets into the capture point. And that's what we're talking about as well. You just want to hold off these capture points. Hard will find one as well as the trade comes through. But it seems like VP might be getting on the upper hand right here as Chris was on the capture point and VP cleaned him up.
Nu înțeleg nimic, ca să mă bată mama, e atât de prost point of view.
The SMG just reigns supreme, it seems, as both movement and positioning is way better on the side of VP. Of course, Ascent figured
foarte prost point of view, point of view, dacă mă întrebați pe mine. Mă scuzați, foarte obosit.
Very still, very calmly on towards the second round, and then being surprised by all the angles VP already knew and held towards the rest of it. 2-0. And of course now a new round will start with the teams trying to gain control of the chopper, with WTG again getting the opening frag towards Koa, and that's the rifle of the board already.
Bate ăla la idee.
Some slow crouching and getting back up. And some angles are being watched.
Dar n-am și noi un point of view dintr-un fight, frate, numai
up on the containers here. He's trying to find and isolate some extra angles, but as we saw before, as soon as that capture point comes in, VP is just ready to hold them off, and that is really what they want to go for. They are quite close to them though, so as soon as the capture point does come on, they do have the opportunity to take one of those in control quickly. But
dar nu era normal că dacă era acolo, îl bătea pe ăsta altul din dreapta lui, în fel sau altul.
There's always an inherent sense of fear in this game, as there's so many angles just to be shot from, and your life can be over as soon as you think it might have just started. 20 seconds left, and still a 4-on-4 situation. WTG has healed up and stopped the bleeding, luckily, because, well, he got a decent chunk taken out of him by Koa, but still it was
Și dacă se termină timpul ăla, oare ce se întâmplă?
Soon the objectives will be the most important thing to come for yet another piece of time before the cleanup duty will do its work if needed. Currently, who will go to the objective first? It will be the B objective going live, and FMX is already on the prowl with his teammate.
Yeah, already both are being held off, so I think we're going to see some small groups being sent out to try and go for a capture point. You just saw them hop by.
Asta numai cotei în spate.
Being fired out there. B currently being captured, it seems. He's actually finding a kill onto WTG as well, but Magic comes in from the back. It finds a second together with FMX. Now it's a 2-on-1 situation. Only up to Brax right now. He's finding himself in the middle of the B capture point, hoping that he can do that in 6 seconds from now, but someone comes around the corner and Magic cleans him up again. VP flawless so far, 3-0.
The timing just a little bit off and looking away there, and
suddenly VP
strikes again. Little bit of hopping over your teammate, falling over. Love the observers already. And Ascent really tries to play towards the objective, but they just lack the map control before going there.
Avem și noi un point of view.
We saw Chris being on that very long angle,
după 3
trying to play
runde.
that Overwatch as if you're playing with your mates, trying to loot whatever you can. But still, if you can't get control of the short range area, you will still lose out, and now it will be 3-0 for VP. And let's not forget, it's 1st to 7 to get a W.
Still waiting for one of those frag grenades to come in from Terra. Texas Hard already takes
Păi, dar rupă aia, mă.
quickly. as Rask also able to put some shots down. FMX finds another kill, going really quickly into VP's way right now.
It's actually insane. 502 already, and that SMG, the recoil seems
Deja au
so
bătut 3.
controllable, and
Când
even on decent
mai nu
range,
vede
they're
nimic
able
să-mi
to make
bag
it
piciorul
work.
dacă...
The nades can't even explode in the time that VP already explodes on towards the kill feed. Now looking for more, and Koa going down as well. Only WTG falling on the VP side, but it's a 4-on-1 against Cheeky Scav.
It's also bleeding. If he loses that arm, there's going to be so much instability towards his aiming, so really wants to get himself healed back up so he can take the fight properly. But if he does that, he's going to make that noise, and as he does that, he gets shut down. VP 4-0.
Îi bate hard ăla de, nu știu de ei.
Seeming like a very safe place, but still you're in the middle of everything. And you know they will come to haunt you. They will know that you had a little bit of control. WTG just playing it to perfection again. VP racking up the score faster than we might have anticipated. And this is also we talked about before. We just couldn't know if it would be a very quick match. Will it be a stomp? Will it be very competitive? And you just see that VP, their playstyle, their knowledge of the map currently, just is so much better than Ascent.
Yeah, they're definitely able to find all these angles early on, and
Da granada aia în Bosnia, cred.
again goes off, doesn't find a single point of damage on any of the VP players. Goes back into the SMG. Rask with some cheeky jumps up there, trying to find some. Ooh, actually finds a player, gets banged through to some containers out there, and means the opening kill is going to be there for the side of Ascent. Quick trade coming out from
Dar ce le face hard ăsta, mă, mâncați-a sufletul tău.
He knows he's being held down as Cheeky takes down Rask. It's now a 4-on-3 favor for Ascent currently, and they're looking for more. They have them tied down, but in the meantime, Cheeky goes down. WTG gets away magically again. His nimble legs always at the ready, and it's back to equal numbers, back to fully healed WTG, waiting to see where he might see a red band, and then the red blood just flying from it.
Now the thing is, as soon as the quicker movement is starting to come through, like we're obviously in like the holding off method of the map right now.
Asta tot în din asta cu tei ăsta. Criza la și are 0 cu 4.
That's where the SMG will actually shine. As soon as VP is moving, they're going to be outgunning anybody currently on the side of Ascent. Maybe Brax, who's also using the agent preset right there, he's going to have a good opportunity to maybe bring that fight back in and take some early fights. But the rest of the team, you know, they have a bit more sway, they have a bit more of an ADS side, so they really need to rely on holding down these angles.
And they're actually quite close to the objective, just on the wrong side of the wall. Brax is just waiting, hoping a player might move in, because he knew he had, I believe, hard on lockdown, and there will be the kill on towards him. Go in the meantime, going down to WTG as Magic then takes down Chris. Brax is the sole member standing close to the objective. Sees they are moving fast.
Uite, bă, iar i-a bătut, mă.
VP is dominant and will go for the 5-0 lead.
Le dă cu jocul în cap ăștia de la Victories. La Virtus, pardon.
And the person capturing was actually holding up the left flank. It's just that he was instantly shut down. And just see right here when someone's coming through. Rex, he had the cover finished. It's just that VP, they were just flooding this side as soon as they wanted to go for it.
The instant headshot as well as he tries to peek around. The mind games being somewhat in favor of VP already, and despite Ascent knowing where one player was, focusing on the one player who already lost the entirety of the rest of the map. So they are being baited into things that they don't want, and WTG seemingly caught off guard, but still gets a kill towards Cheeky before being traded out by Koa, and that's actually a miraculous save from him.
Magic ăla și Hardy, nu le dă cu jocul în cap. Și Chris ăla, nu știu ce caută. Are 0 cu 5 de știu. A făcut și el un kill, mă, mâncați-și. A crăpat ceasul, a făcut și el un kill cu teiul.
Definitely spotting out some other players as well. VP again, a man down, but it hasn't stopped them before. They're only 2 rounds away from winning this first best of 1. As Koa's just showing his head every now and then with the AK.
Well, he knows they don't have a sniper.
Yeah, but he also knows that, you know, single headshot and you're gone. He's not wearing a helmet, so with the SMG with high fire rate, they don't want to give anything away.
What an angle as well, just looking over the shoulder, just waiting for that head to pop up. 15 seconds left before we go in towards the objective. And I believe that Ascent actually on towards the A point has a very solid hold currently, because they have chopper control, they have the area around it as well.
4-3, acum îi bate. 4-2.
I believe he might also be bleeding.
Yeah, and he's lost his arm, so his accuracy is going to be a little bit less so, especially if you're trying to hold down these angles. Luckily, though, playing with the SMGs, just trying to make some quick pace to go through. FMX taking a shot from the SKS, goes down as well after he deals a little.
Ce bă, că stau și ăștia cu tăi aici pe toate colțurile în cațe, nu...
It is going to be a send to take that first round as Brax takes him down. At least not going out flawlessly, hoping that this is going to be the comeback they need.
5-1.
First round coming in luckily, and of course, this is very important for Ascent. If they would just lose 7-0 on this first map, it would be breaking their mental, especially as they are also up for the second match of today against Into the Breach. So going down 7-0, then having to play another one would not be too great for you.
Era cu capul negru.
Again, round number 7. VP, of course, 2 away from taking this one. A nice quick pace that we're seeing here from both these teams as they just want to get the most advantageous positions. As FMX takes down terror attacks, Brax wanted to go for some shots, but it seems like VP definitely starting up strong here.
They say cute that you've won a round, but we take 3 kills instantly. Nice, those nades are coming out, but they still don't hurt us a single bit. Not a single point of damage being taken by VP as they take complete control of the round already. Now they just have to wait. Wait for the mistakes to be made by Ascent, as of course they will have to run into their grasps. Whenever the objective goes open, it's the only way Ascent could truly win. And there goes Chris, being sniped out by an SMG on range.
Sniperul, 1-6, a făcut și el un kill din greșeală și are sniper ce, el bate ăștia cu SMG-ul, îi dă one tap.
And now he just needs to try and hold that, but everybody just swarms and takes him down. Some team kills as well to follow up with it, but it's a 6-1 lead for VP. Match point right now, one more round, and to find themselves with the very first victory.
Actually insane to see Chris just
culcat
enjoying
de
life and then
timpul
doing a little bit of a boogie on the tower. So we also saw Brax just being mowed down. They just knew where he was. They were just a double peek coming in, and then people being annoyed by their frag being taken.
It's like, that was my kill. You just leave it.
Just leave it. It should have been mine. It was mine to begin with. And now I'm curious to see if VP will still have that high pace of play. They seem to be running and pre-firing everything, but nobody being there.
I mean, they have quite some mags, and as double DG goes down, it's an instant refresh to come into the side of Hard. Chris again find themselves
mi ziceau că n-au avut contact cu jocul ăsta decât le-a dat acces înainte câteva zile.
Trades keep on coming through. A 2-on-3 now in favor of Ascend.
And how they turn around, it might be a very nice thing to have Chris on the overwatch. If there might be mistakes from VP, but still FMX just runs up, take down Cheeky in the chopper, and Chris is so
Iară
far
să
away,
urcă ăsta în
actually leaving
Bosnia.
alone at
Iarăși ia one tap.
because of course he
Fiți atenți numai la el, dacă face asta un kill. Păcăliciul ăsta.
hoping that a little head will pop up, and the same will go for Terratex.
But it's not just that, he's also playing with a sniper rifle, so they know he's going to be up there, they know he's going to be trying to find these long angles, so as long as they can prevent that from happening... Oh, just some quick looting from FMX, but he's getting shot as he tries to do so. I think he wanted to take out a grenade or something out of that pocket, so there was something he could use, or maybe some ammunition.
Yeah, just an extra nade maybe for the objective when it goes live.
Bă, ce-a făcut, mă, le-a picat live-ul la ăștia? Bro. Bă, dar vrem calitate mai bună. Bravo, băi, Chris. Ești un jucător foarte jucător. Păi ce pula mea fac ăștia, mă, de la BSG? Uite-l pe ăla, alergă în stânga. Bravo, băi, Chris. Du-te, dracu, de păcălici. Bă, vrem calitate mai bună. Băi, nu ne dau și ăștia calitate mai bună. 1080. Arată consola roșie. Băi, dar ce fac ăștia de la... Vai de mine. Ai de mine.
Thanks.
So impressive.
It was cool.
I heard that we are back with us on the stage, and joining me on the stage is Hart, the player from Virtus.pro.
Bă, stai
Also the
așa,
player,
ce-am
I think, who
făcut?
popped off the most, so a very good job on that first. How are you feeling after this very first game?
I'm feeling good, but I want to play more. We want to play more, and
You
we
have-
will
Mă
play more.
scuzați.
Yeah, you'll have to wait a little bit, unfortunately, for your next game, but this felt good, I assume, right? It's the first game, you're happy to you play more, so it must be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Dă-te dracu să vă pice live în timpul turneului, să nu se mai audă comentatorii, să vă tremure camerele, bă, pe toate le-ați avut
Did you
mâncat și
expect it to be
pula
that easy,
asta.
like a 7-1 this far, or?
We just was focusing on our game. We didn't care about the score.
We didn't.
Score, we winning or losing. We just was focusing on our own game. So that's it.
Sounds very good. I mean, focusing on your game, you did a lot of boot camp and prep as well in that regards, right? You had a boot camp?
Yeah, but we get sick.
Oh.
Yeah, every one of us. So we didn't play first day, and 3 days we was just playing like a zombie.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it was hard, but it doesn't matter. We just was practicing. We know that's we good, and we will go forward.
It's better to be sick before than during the games, right? So you're not playing here like a zombie. Thank you so much for the interview. I wish you best of luck for the other games to come. Thank you so much.
Yeah, love you guys.
Love to hear that. Thank you so much. Also, well, the
Love you
first
guys.
interview of the day after a very first victory for Virtus.pro as well. And we obviously have some things to talk about on the analyst desk as well. I'll make my way over there. We'll have a short break, but we'll be right back with you.
Hai de noi. Vai de noi, bă, băieți. Vai de noi, bă, băieți, băi.
Welcome back to the analyst
Da,
desk.
așa că
We have
avem
lots
și
to
noi
talk about after our
update
very first game
la
because
FUT.
I think this game maybe went a a little bit faster than we were expecting it to go.
I don't know. I think we had a feeling that maybe VP would be the more experienced side because of the players that they have. And it looked as if we were right, Giga, because that team knew exactly what they were doing today.
Yeah, they really just had every person in the right position.
De tot râsul s-a făcut ăștia să
central points covered so that when the timer was clicking down, because this is the thing, when you first play, you don't realize how important it is to cover those spots, simply because it's only 7 seconds to capture, and if you're not in the right place on the map, you actually can't get there in time. So it's so important to be set up beforehand so that you can basically cut people off as they come down into those points. But VP had all the angles covered.
I mean, it's pretty much what we saw in the last round as well, right? The very sneaky objective secure from FMX coming out in that final round. Are we already seeing some struts evolve, you think, on this tournament?
Well, I think VP, you have to look at their positional sense. And I think also the kit will come into play with that in terms of how they use the agent class, which, of course, was just everything was being ran around that agent class for VP. All 5 of them, and we'll probably see a lot of them for the highlights, because that was pretty much all the kills coming in from VP.
Să vedem dacă au băgat ceva misiune nouă.
Yeah,
tot a făcut update-ul.
Oh, Chris, what are you doing to us?
It was a tough one for him, you know, just being up in the tower. It's just a very, very difficult kit to use. You know, yes, you do have the Elcan with the 1 times and the 4 times on it, but the way that people move around the map, you know, they're just, these guys just aren't letting themselves be seen from long range. It's not like usual Tarkov where you can just wait and wait for somebody to come across your sights. And, you know, across the rest of the kits.
Hai să vedem dacă ne-a băgat și nouă ceva update pe Tarkovul ăsta, că Arena... Ne-au lămurit și cu Arena. Ok. Peacekeeper. Poisoning, yeah. Asta e, nu știu ce, am făcut level 4 și nu cred că e și de aia. Asta nu, nici o misiune nouă. Astea le aveam, activ. Apare nicio misiune nouă. Sau aia o fi misiune? Asta. Bă, nu știu. Asta fi misiune nouă, băieți? Aveți careva idee? Nu cred că știe niciunul, nu? Habar nu am niciun. Este o secundă să arăt cum pe Discord. Nu înțeleg nimic, au pus eu poza acolo, dar nu înțeleg nimic. Na, nu știu. Să ne mai băgăm și noi niște gloanțe până începe următorul meci. Bă, au nebunit ăștia mâncați. Ce să facem? Băgăm niște M80-uri. Ok. Ce mai avem aici? Niște propitalus. Ce ne-a adus Kev? Din inteligență. Ne-a adus de ne-a zăpăcit. 300.000 inteligență. Aoleu. Trebuie să farmăm cu schevul. Punem și noi glonțetele astea aici. Punem un propitalus aici. Asta aici, asta aici, asta aici, asta aici. Asta aici. Să aruncăm astea pe piață repede. 6, 3, 3, 3, 3. Propitalus ăsta aici. Asta la mecanic. Asta dăm cu el aici. Și asta lăsăm aici, că ne trebuie la misiunea aia, da? Tare curios sunt dacă e... Nu știu dacă am misiune, că am făcut eu level sau poisoning. Stai să mă uit pe net. Sau e misiune de event. Poisoning. Da, cred că e misiune nouă aia. Who is the poison that raised land rage by Roth? Da. I think on the bottom the land bridge, ok. Da, e misiune nouă, ne-am băgat misiuni noi. Ok, hai să vedem ce fac ăștia. N-a început meciul. Ce să faceți? Să dăm și noi un meci? Până începe ăștia turneul? Nu știu ce să facem. De-abia acum intră băieți în sală. Uite-l pe Liciupi, pe ăla, ce miche.
We'll talk about them a little bit more later, of course, but it's time to introduce their opponents onto the stage as well. Playing against them today in the second matchup of today is Into the Breach.
Vă futuți.
watching players when they're walking up on the stage and seeing how they're doing, what they're bringing up, and I got so happy when I saw Into the Breach because I think I saw maps. Maybe it looked like a strat book.
I mean, obviously it's early days, we mentioned that before, but you need to be prepared.
Yeah.
We highlighted VP in terms of how prepared they were. They knew exactly what they
Dar
wanted
ce
to do,
merge așa
how they
cu
wanted to
lagul?
structure, putting their players around the map. I hope ITB will probably do a similar thing.
Now, for regards to preparation for both these teams, because I spoke to both of the, well, I guess managers or players on the teams.
Păi nu știu dacă e de la mine sau iar e de la ei, că până nebunești cu ăștia.
Just came back from playing another tournament. Now they suffer the first loss. But that's also, I guess, a little bit of prep, isn't it, Giga?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's hard to prepare for something like this. You know, you can look at the loadouts and you can look at the strategies. As we said before, nobody knows exactly what it's going to be like. And so each actual tournament, you wouldn't want to bring your best strats right in the first game. So it's going to be a developing situation.
We're not already hiding strats. Not already.
No.
We can't be doing that.
I wouldn't put
It's
anything
a group
past
stage.
them.
I mean, you want to continue, obviously, in the top 4 in that bracket, ideally in the top 2 even. But for Into the Breach as well, this team kind of
Eu nu știu dacă e de la mine. Dar nu cred că e de la mine. Nu cred că ar avea voie să fie de la mine. Dacă dăm pe o sursă mai mică.
We're just going to have to see how they do, and hopefully they can do a good job.
Nu e de la mine. Mai dăm un refresh.
Because these teams obviously need a little bit of time to get ready, to make sure they are in the best form, shape, whatever sitting position, so they can start the game. We have a short break. We will be back right with you.
Another break. Doamne. O spart ăștia cu break-urile. Break după break după break după break. Welcome to Arena. Head Ice Showdown, auzi? Play. Mă gândeam că o să fie mai interesant, mai niște meciuri mai frumoase, mai pline de hype, așa. Da-i drept, le pică hype-ul, le pică tot, le pică mă cu live-ul ăsta. Alor. Știi ce se mișcă în lag, frate. Și sunt sigur că nu e de la mine.
What it's like to lose. They know how to recover from that as well, Giga.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's three players there who are primarily
și acum ne vorbesc ăștia iară un minut și iară bagă pauză.
PUBG mains and then Terra and Cheeky, who are kind of Tarkov guys. So, you know, they do have a breadth of experience to figure out what to do in this situation once you're down a lot.
Walker.
Cheeky was really the only thing we could take away from Asen's performance. I think he played quite well. He was the reason why I think they were even in rounds to begin with whenever it came down to 2v2s and stuff like that. But I'm going to highlight Chris. He was the one who was on the sniper
rifle. Așa jucat și meciul trecut, Ascend ăștia, nu? Da.
I wouldn't be surprised Ascend just run again all agents. I think they'll just take what VB did and just do that again. Just think, yeah, it is the better class.
But then again, sorry, go ahead.
No, it could well go that way. I mean, it does look extremely strong. you have everything that you really need, and I think it's just because in these early stages, as I touched on very quickly earlier, you know, you just don't get that much choice, especially around armor. And so having fast fire rate and the ability to destroy all the other armors, you don't really need much else.
No, indeed, you're right. But then on the side of Into the Breach, this is the first time we are seeing them, but I best believe that they were backstage watching that game from Ascend and Virtus Pro, of course, you know, getting some takeaways from that game probably as well. But what are the expectations you have for Into the Breach coming into this game, Demo?
Well, I think ITB, you have to kind of look at your opponent, and I'm sure, again, they watch that game. They're probably sitting there thinking, these guys are here for the taking. They look like a very slow team. They leave a lot of the map open. If they can get into those positions early on, Ascend really struggle with trying to get the capture points if they don't control like middle portions of the map. So if they can control that center part, then it could be a very quick game as well.
Yeah, this is the thing, that the way that Tarkov plays out, audio is so important, and you can hear everybody on the map if you've got one of the classes with the headsets, which the agent also does. So it's quite tempting to play quite slowly, but if you lose control of that middle area, as we've seen, it's devastating and you just can't really recover.
It might also be a whole different map that we're playing on. I mean, you mentioned how Sawmill has seen a ban before. You weren't surprised about that. But we'll see which map we'll play for this best of one in our group stage as well. Map veto coming up right now. No surprise, Sawmill banned again. But we are going to Air Pit. Your first thoughts on this, Giga?
Air Pit's a little bit different to Bay 5 because, as we touched on before, it's very open in between the areas of cover. You've got these like large open areas inside, but then you've got the actual airplane in the center, which
But if it's very
careful because you can shoot through the side of the plane.
Indeed, you can shoot through the side of the plane, but this is the map that we will be playing here today. What are your notes or your thoughts on this, Demo?
I think middle of the map is very important. Both teams will be looking to push this straight away. The interesting thing, though, that I find with the middle portion of the plane, you've got two floors. The first floor and the second floor, and we talked about sound, that could get a little bit confusing sometimes because, again, sound, as we know, will travel. So if you know someone's downstairs, how do you get that information across to someone else to maybe go in and clear them out? I think communication has to be key. Like we mentioned before, it's very open. There's not as much cover as what we had with Bowl. You will be stuck in just one portion of the map. You will be stuck in a shop. Not much else you can do, but the good thing though about a lot of the shops is they are outside capture points. So even if you have just one control of one shop on your side, you should be able to stop the opponents getting that capture point.
Yeah, exactly. And team communication is going to be absolutely critical to figuring out where people are, because on this map people will be out of audio range, so you're going to have to talk to each other to figure out where they are.
Yeah, we also saw obviously those objectives on either side of the plane. There's lots of cover for, well, holding those objectives, making sure, for example, Ascend, like they did in the previous game, can't go insecure.
Yeah, and obviously the plane, all the windows, you have so many windows right along the top. You can see everything from that portion. So I think it will just be a full-on blitz. It'll be interesting to see how many players teams will send into the plane. Will it be, it could be everyone? Will it be only a few? Will they try and make sure they can control still the outsides of the map? I think positional sense is going to be really, really key. If ITB, if they have this glorious strat book that you've mentioned before, you would hope that they'll have something cooked. Honestly, I think maybe a 1-1 free split might be good, because you've kind of got these free lanes you can go down, left, middle, and the right side.
I mean, I mentioned Stratbook, but then again, on the side of Into the Breach, their prep hasn't been ideal. They said there wasn't really that much that they could do in regards to prepping for this, having gotten the access to Arena. But then, do you think that might hurt them, Giga?
I mean, probably if they can manage to group into two sort of fire teams, that might help, honestly. Because I know that within the teams, they've got a group of 3 and a group of 2 that are much more used to playing together. So if they can utilize that pre-existing, I don't know, just relationship amongst the players, that could help a lot to, just avoid some of the practice that they may be missing compared to the other teams.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's already chemistry existing in those groups that you mentioned, the 2 groups really that this team has. But in regards of expectations for this matchup, what are we thinking could potentially be a victory or a potential scoreline even though that's very difficult to say, because it's the first day of the tournament and we don't know that much yet.
No, I did not look my crystal ball. I couldn't find one. I don't have the answers for that one. There's no crystal ball on that one. There's a lot of stuff, but not that. Yeah, it's just, again, it's brand new. We don't know. We just don't know. That's the answer. It's not because we're clowns or anything and the circus has arrived. It's just we don't know.
No, we don't. But anything you might think of this in regards of predictions or expectations?
I'm hoping that we see a closer game this time. I think the first game has been instructive. I reckon everybody will be so interested in seeing it. Exactly. They've set the pace. They've shown really what it takes to dominate in these games and the play style that you can't afford to use. And so teams will be thinking, right, well, scratch that, scratch that.
We need to go fast.
We need to go fast. And I think that will play into making it a bit more balanced because you'll have more, you know, 1, 1, and 1, and 1, and 1, and you have like a 2v1 or a 2v2 at the end, something like that. So hopefully we see a bit more of an even score.
I'm hearing you say we need to go fast, but also you guys were talking about like, hey, the map or the agents being on the side of Into the Breach, or sorry, Ascent earlier. Do you think we'll see agent again, or would you reckon there's different presets on this map?
Here's the thing, and it's the same point we touched about with
Mamă, e
Ascent.
plină sala acolo. Fiți atenți cât de plină e sala.
I would say after about 2 rounds, you're thinking, I don't know if I want to play this anymore, but you cannot change it. You are locked into that. So you really need to stand your ground and say, if you're picking this, it needs to work, or else you will start costing your team if you cannot pick up the kills with this specific class. So is it going to be the same risk again for Ascent, or will they just play it safe and just say, I'm going to go for the all-round kit? This could pay off. You know, that sniper rifle could have been sitting there popping heads all day against me, but it didn't play out that way. Or do you just say, let's just go basic, we know this works, it's a sure thing, let's go for that?
I think this is the thing, it's you can't really cheese it, because even if you surprise them in the first or the second round, then they're going to adapt. They're going to adapt to it, right? And as we saw, you know, you sit in the same place 2 rounds in a row, and you get pre-fired, right? These guys are all top tier. And so because you can't change your class, it has to carry through the whole match, and you can't just rely on it for the first couple for shock factor. So I do think there will be a temptation to just go for safer kits that you know just work in almost all of these scenarios. All of these guys are good at aiming anyway, so you know a red dot is fine on most of the maps. It's not that far, even on some of the bigger ones. So yeah, I think the temptation will be to take something like Agent. There are a few others as well, potentially, but we're gonna have to see. There's a good shotgun kit that I've got my eye out on. You know.
It'd be fun hiding in a bush somewhere outside on Sawmill, maybe, if we do get to see it, hopefully at one point.
Sawmill temptation is
crazy. We'll see. Maybe in the best of 5 finals.
Maybe.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves in here.
If you were looking at
the players on the screen and wondering why the game has not started, yeah, that is because the players need a little bit more time to make sure they are all ready. It's not, you're not at your own house. You're not making sure you're setting up in your own place. You need to bring all your stuff with you, make sure you don't forget it as well, and then set up all your stuff here on your PC at this event. But then for Ascent, I think that's their big plus or their big strength coming into this. They have this experience of playing on LAN. Is the experience that much there as well with Into the Breach, or not really?
I don't think it's on the same level.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, exactly, because Into the Breach are a mainly Tarkov team as well, and you know, we've been talking about the online community tournaments primarily for Tarkov, and it's a different experience in LAN that they may not be used to.
And obviously we talk about how the differences are on LAN compared to online. Yes, different environment. Some players, some teams actually thrive in this scenario. They actually love going to LANs more so than their own house. Is it because the PCs here are better than their own gear? Who knows? But there is just that thing about sitting beside your team just gives them so much more energy.
Indeed, that is so important. You can literally look at your teammates' screens, see what they're doing. That really is going to help for the communication. Even thinking about how Into the Breach consists of just 2 little groups maybe as well, Giga.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very different thing than playing regular Tarkov. Tarkov is almost always exclusively played on your own, in duos or in trios at most. You know, the 5 is usually almost like a meme, right? It's like new players come in and they play as a 5 together, and it always ends up not going well because you know you don't have any team indicators. There's very, very little HUD, and this is 5v5, which is something that Tarkov players usually aren't used to playing.
Indeed, yeah, but let's bring up the lineups for these 2 teams again to introduce you on who's actually playing in this matchup. We'll have Ascent first. That really looked at this roster. You mentioned Cheeky was the one player that really stood out in the previous game.
I think it was 8-7, I want to say, whenever the game ended. So he's certainly the guy to watch for Ascend. He was putting the fight.
Ia să vedem pe Chris ăsta dacă acum de data asta face și el ceva. Sau iară face 1 cu 6, 1 cu 7, cât dracu a avut.
So hopefully someone's going to be there to really, you know, be the star.
Yeah, exactly. The groups to watch out for is Walker, Filber, and Blank together, and Goes and Blitzer. That's how the team splits down amongst the 5 in terms of the experience that they had previously. And, you know, they've got lots of Tarkov community tournament experience between them, so hopefully that will stand them in good stead.
Yeah, we should be able to get into our lobby very quickly, and before that, or when we get into the lobby, there is the preset selection first. We get to see whether you guys were right on that agent pick or not, or whether there is indeed a sniper, as you mentioned before. So hopefully we get to see what kind of classes we have as well? Because we do have 4 of those classes. You think that's going to make a difference on Airpit as well?
I think it might influence people a little bit just because of these longer sight lines. You know, maybe you can get away with you can get away with something that's not just a full auto point shooter. Yeah, but then again, you get the SJ6 on these classes, and this map is actually quite big. So being able to run from one end to the other without stopping, that's actually huge. So again, the temptation is just so high to just pick all agents.
Exactly. And we talked about the middle of the map. You want to try and get there as quick as you can, and the faster you can set up in a better position than your opponents, over time, physics lesson all of a sudden, distance over time, carry the weight plus the stims equals, we win the game. Does that sound about right? Or I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see, obviously. I mean, we are heading into the game very shortly. Unfortunately, no character presets that we'll discuss on the desk. We'll see in the game whether you guys are right or not on that agent pick, or whether we'll see some few different things there. But I would love for this game to be a closer game, right? The last game was pretty much of a stomp from Virtus Pro.
Băi, ce să ne uite decât la meciul ăsta că nu mai rezist, să rup de somn, am dormit toată noaptea, am zis că stau azi mai pe seară să mă reglez somnul, dar nicio șansă.
Be one of those situations where, again, Ascend, this will just get them right back into the tournament. After suffering the stump, at that stage, you're at pretty much a low point. Now you can just go out and just do whatever you want. That's it. You're at your lowest. You can't get any lower than that. You can't.
Yeah, so many teams say like, it's really nice to have your first loss in the beginning of the tournament, because then you don't build that insane confidence, and then you get really hit in your head when you finally have a loss further into the tournament. So maybe this is what Ascend needs, even though maybe they don't want to have it like that, have a loss their very first game. It's only up from there.
Yeah, exactly, and they know that they can't play it safe.
Mă plictisesc că este atât de tare încât mai iasă somnul pe scaun.
We're just going to go all out on whatever it is that we're going to pick to do. Maybe agent, maybe something else. Maybe they go all shotguns. Who knows? There's an extremely good shotgun class that also just one-shots everybody to the chest if you manage to hit the shot like that. And these guys all can. And so that could be really scary because it's got range on it as well.
That'd be really good to see too. I'm very curious whether we see Agent or not, or whether we see different compositions in here. Now, Airpit is also the first time for Ascend coming into this game as well. Airpit, do you feel like I don't know if they banned it in the previous game?
I can't remember. I think they banned Sawmill twice. I know that for a fact. I don't think they banned it previously. I think VP banned the Airpit, but it's not.
Deci știam că mai durează atâta, frate, dădeam și noi un meci fain frumos, mai băteam ceva, mai ne băteai ceva, mai ale.
It's not going to be like your Sawmill. It could play a little bit similar for them, and again, who knows, maybe this is where Chris could come in with a sniper, a little bit open.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but we are ready for our second game. The players are ready, and we will toss you over to Hap and Tonsma for our second game of the day.
În sfârșit, hai să vedem.
Thank you very much, Anna. We're getting ready for a new map, luckily. Of course, there might be a little bit of difference of teams preferring one or the other, but we're already jumping in. Goes and Chris both getting the kills, and Chris again going for that sniper vibe. We see some feet moving by as Terratex just thinks he's the kind one today, as Gobo takes down Walker, and as Giga said, you can just wall bang the lane, and the teams are already moving towards to do that.
Yeah, it's not just the agent class we're seeing though, we're also seeing some assault rifles to be coming in.
Uitați care are Chris la un kill deja, nu vine să cred. O fi meciul lui ăsta.
This code does go down by Philbo. 3-on-3. Blink's will go down as well by the agent class, of course, using the MP9. And now 2-on-3. 25 seconds left on the clock. This first phase is going relatively quickly as someone gets spotted out there. But Terratex not quite able to get the shots through, but as he fires, everybody knows, he's in that plane.
Yeah, but he's lost his arm already, so
Bateria titanilor, haide.
Like he's has his arms tied behind his back, but just different, and you just see the wall bangs coming out. It's a little bit of a game. Of course, you might run out of ammo sometime soon. Time has at least already run out as Ghost takes down Brax.
Uite, asta nu-mi place, că nu vedem și noi point of view ca lumea, frate, nu vedem nimic, vedem asta. A fost un point of view cât de cât.
It's now a 1v2 Ghost. The man to myth, the legend, has to make this work, has to also get some more ammo, because I believe he's already shot everything of his main. Now has the MP9 and a little bit to work with, but he's also bleeding out.
Yeah, so he quickly has to get himself back up to speed, but still some time left, 15 seconds, and Once the capture points are active, there's no warning yet that someone is indeed capturing. They might have expected him to go there and just holding off the angles now, but what we do know is that in 2 seconds that cleanup crew will come in. And we saw that basically come into effect in the very last round of the previous match, where Chris was looking to take the shot on the final VP player, and then he got suppressed by the cleanup crew, having to go back down, because otherwise he would have lost his head out there.
Goes actually goes down to turneeeu, and the first round actually goes to Ascend. I was actually quite hyped for Ghost maybe to
Fiți atenți, bă, că și revine Chris ăsta, băi. Meciul trecut a avut 1 cu 7, cât dracu a avut.
Despite the 2 kills, he got as wallbangs and just moving in like a menace. He ran out of bullets completely, and the wallbangs were there. turneeeu was on the wing itself, and it's 1-0
Fii atent
for Ascend.
ce le face Chris ăsta acum.
Second round.
Bate Chris ăsta la ei, nu e adevărat.
Set a certain meta with the MP9 being the favored weapon, as of course they are looking to do what they can in this new round, and ITB is moving across through Burger as well.
Get some already nades being tossed out, but nothing really hitting. Cheeky Scapto will find blanks. A lot of ammo being used here in the M4, 60-round magazines to go with. We have 2 as a result, and turneeeu's taking some slight hits, looking to take the fight back towards them. Blitzagoda will take the kill onto Cheeky Scaff, so definitely making sure that ITB has the advantage in this round.
Yeah, you just see ITB already just bringing the big guns rather than the SMGs. Chris now takes down Blitzer from the back.
Vezi că și-a revenit Chris-ul ăsta.
Once again, heal up as his arms are quite
Păcăliciu, băi.
spaghetti. And looking for more is Philbo already close towards the point.
Se pare că are pornirea mai grea.
To get going for when that time runs out, but I've played Airpit before, and the issue with Airpit, as Philbo taps out turneeeu, the points are so incredibly open, more so than on the previous map of Bowl, and that makes it just incredibly hard to even take the point if you don't have airplane control. And as Demo said, there's 2 floors, so taking airplane control takes at least 2 people.
Goes, will find a kill onto Kowo, and now only up to Chris with the SKS, and we've talked about this before, is basically having to go for hold off the one angle he might be visible from, but it seems that it's actually going to be the A-bomb side. So it's going to be Walker that gets the final kill, and he's going to be cleaning that one off, 1-1.
Yeah, incredible stuff going on, and sometimes you rush and usually you then die.
Pe harta asta se pare că e extrem de mult wallbang, nu știu cum se face, cum nu se face, dar
ITB had, and luckily we're able to close things out here on towards Chris as well. 1-1 in towards the new round, and of course every round the teams switch sides as well, just to make sure that it's balanced in that regard, and they have the ability to use whatever movement they want. Nate goes in, or flashbang rather, and the wallbangs again come in. Blank goes really low though, so he might be the first to fall or actually bleed out.
Gets taken down out there, and instantly putting ITB in a bit of a disadvantage. Look at Blitzagoda as well, the amount of damage just went through. Have to try and just heal up little bits of that and make sure you can get yourself back into the fight. You also need to continue fighting on, and as turneeeu is healing himself back up, there's always a second person out there. For now, we see a lot of fight going on around the airplane. There's turneeeu and his buddy just looking to make sure that they can keep a hold of that, because it is just the center part of that map. Every single bomb site can be seen from, capture site can be seen from that plane.
Face numai gălăgie care să mă cu negru.
Keep under control.
It's Blitzer Girl taking down Cheeky Scav back to a 4-4, but damage has been dealt towards the ITB side. Goes, however, takes out turneeuu, and suddenly they have the favored amount of players. 20 seconds left, and these staircases, they seem to be the big issue currently. And as ITB has some happier setups, of course, they will not run as fast. Chris takes down Blitzer, but Philbo, how does he survive and takes down Kowo? Back to a 3-on-2, time is running out, and Philbo's already inside.
He barely survived though, he's having a heavy and a small bleeding. Only having 3 parts of his body left alive. Goes, he's going to have a lot of sway, still gets the kill onto Chris though. He's going to be taken down himself right afterwards, but Brax, the last man standing on the side of Ascend.
E mai echilibrat, se pare. Ăsta e negru tot, în care bleeding.
2 shots will be the death of him. And then Walker, the other one running around with the agent kit, 2 full mags to play with here. Would be surprised if he's going for some pre-fires, but for now they're just trying to find out which side is actually capturable.
It's this one.
Philbo.
Yeah, Philbo's actually at the wrong one, and still he run into Brax, who is now both got the MP9 and a sniper rifle to work with, so he's set up for doom. He doesn't want to move in. He thinks, hey, I'm in the center of the map. The cleanup crew might be coming from the outside, so I might be on the safer side here.
Cleanup crew.
That's true. He's in the center, but that also means that the cleanup crew is coming in from every single angle, and as Walker is slowly starting to get himself into position, he's also going to try and find himself a angle where he can hold them off. And he's being pushed right here, gets taken down by the cleanup crew.
Just 3 guys standing in your face.
Yeah, he got one, but you know, there's nothing you can do with his 3 more coming around the corner out there.
No. That's the doom scenario we're all hoping to avoid at every moment in time. And was so close to the point, but he knew the moment he would just walk on it, he'd be taken out by his opponent. And that means suddenly it's still
Aici capul ăsta a fost frumos rău. Pac, Quante.
That's a had eyes right there, the name of showdown.
Yeah, Ghost, I told you, I played with him, he's absolutely insane, and you see it currently already. Yeah. He's just racking up kills, despite them not having the lead, he's still 5 on 2.
He's actually using 2 100-round mags. I mean, it's also a strategy, don't need to reload if you use those. So.
Just wallbang into oblivion as a blank takes down Cheeky Scavits to a 5 on 4. Goes on and takes down Terror Tactics.
Fiți atenți că Chris ăsta e lider de pe echipare 4-2 până acum. De la cel mai slab la... Iată că e cel mai bun deocamdată din echipă.
Especially when you're coming into a bit of a darker area, that flashlight's just going to be obscuring your entire vision. You're not going to be able to see anything. Of course, you just aim at the flashlight, shoot back, but it is definitely a bit disorienting to go over. Now, Ascend, they are leading by rounds, but in this round itself, 2 men down currently, and the plane control completely in the hands of ITB. They just saw someone out there on the upper part of the map, quickly went down, not wanting to take that fight.
Yeah, still a 5 on 3. Time is running lower and lower. And what we actually see is that Breaks is also the man with a scope, but it's Chris in the first fight. He takes down Philbo on the long range. Oh, 1-tap on towards Blitzer. And now
we're back to 3 ăsta, nebunit Chris-ul ăsta, bă, opriți-l pe Chris-ul. Bă. Deci iară a picat. Iară le-a picat.
I was going to say, pretty sure I had a gun, so. 20 seconds before the cleanup crew will be coming through. Koho is close to the capture point and, you know, has to decide whether or not to go for it. It's being held off by Walker. He's just holding that long angle. To find an early kill as Blanks is actually being shot at here through the plane, taking quite some damage. He's going to fall into safety.
It's cleanup time. And in the meantime, Brex just takes down Blank the moment he just drops down and Walker says, it's our last resort. We're down 1 player. We have to go for the capture. He's actually on it as well as Ghost takes down 2. It's only Brex alive and they have the objective. ITB turns around on a sense, showing where they are, and then they just take another round. Back to 2 on 2, back to equal numbers happen. And suddenly everything can happen here.
It shows you how important that plane control is there, Chowdhury, because they were capturing, he was sitting up on the plane wing, just able to find both those.
Deci le pică la ăștia live un continuu, frate, în continuu.
You just need to get in there. You cannot just wait patiently.
Cover as well.
He's just taking both out there as they push through.
Deci ce faze pierdem că le pică lor live.
Rather than walking, and just goes is that sentry to take down 2 people trying to rush him down. That is confidence. That is trust in your team as well. And that's what we need right here at the top level of play. As Ghost then says, hey, they try to shoot up this staircase every time. I'm just gonna lay down here, take him out, because they will push, they will move. As Cheeky Scav sees bullets fly by, but Brax will go lower after taking down Ghost himself.
Yeah, takes down one of those top impactors on the side of ITB. Of course, going with a huge amount of ammunition in the magazines. Allows you to continue on that fight for just a little bit longer. Especially on this plane, we just continue firing through. There's no way that they're going to be trying to fire some rounds back if you're firing with that 100-round magazine. But for now, just everybody holding off slightly. No one really moving. Brax healing himself back up to as far as he can. And we're just going to be waiting out potentially towards the capture zones.
Yeah, definitely. It's just Ascend trying to play the time, hoping
Bă, frate, dați-vă, bă, dracu, să vă pice în halul ăsta.
This Walker just scouting around, looting a weapon in the meantime from someone or receiving one, rather.
Tipul are TV pe el.
He's now a little bit of that.
Jmecherul. Bă, dați-vă dracu, ba pula în voi. Așa ceva, să vă pice în continuu. N-ai cum, frate.
You're out of the magazine now. We'll find a player on the final shot,
Uite așa se
though.
duce meciul
So,
pe pula.
worked out in the end, but that could have gone really badly there for Chica Scav as well. 3v5. Ascend really in a good advantage here. They need to make sure they keep this up. They need to keep those capture points covered because they have the advantage. And as Brex finds Blitzigo, it's only up to Walker now.
It's a clean round already coming down from Ascend. Only one player alive, and they take him down. Just a little bit of damage taken. But they managed to take the lead now, 3-2. And this is so interesting.
3-2. Bă, un meci destul de echilibrat dacă mă întrebați pe mine.
To see them bounce back on a different map, different opponents, and they are doing really well.
And it's not like they've changed up their kit.
No.
Acea bătaie și-a luat meciul trecut, chiar se descurcă binișor acum.
And it's working out a lot better now, and that might have just been because they've just got a better hold of what exactly is going to be the pace of this game, or it might be because
Așa ceva. Deci așa ceva n-ai cum cu ei, frate. Așa. Gata, băieți, ăsta a fost și live-ul. Ia că e live iară.
very careful with where he's taking these fights. As Koa goes for a team kill into terror attacks, that is very painful for Ascend. Might actually lose him the round here because now he's all alone up against the two of ITB. They can try and go for a capture point at this moment because then you get to find out where he is, make sure that the cover is on point. Of course, it hasn't spawned yet. It will take about 20 more seconds as the pre-fires are coming through. It's about 19 rounds of that mag, 2/3 through. The other ones are halfway through, so needs to be a bit patient with the ammo there. Cannot really pre-fire everything at this moment, but still has a grenade in pocket, and that's huge.
I told you before, there's a big chance for friendly fire. We've just seen it. Koa taking down his teammate on a round that seemingly could have been won easily. And now it's a 2-on-1. Time is running out. Wallbang's not hitting anything. And as you said, he has to be conservative with the ammo. But he's losing more and more on towards the point. There will be Philbo takes down Koa with a brief headshot. And it's back to 3-on-3. The moment we thought Ascend might actually take the lead, they lose it again. And this is turning in towards a tennis match.
It's definitely very close, and let's keep it that way as for amount of replays.
Deci a picat la ăștia live-ul de 5-6 ori asta. 40 de minute.
Like, I was also confused. Like, is there someone in his back? Well, yeah, his teammate, but I think it might have been a wallbang coming out from Koa.
It could have
because
been,
he's been pre-fire playing for a long time, and you don't have X-ray. You have no idea where your teammate might be.
And it might have been he saw something, just not being certain if there's a player out there. As Terratex goes down pretty quickly by Goes. Blank will go down as well by Cheeky. So a one-on-one trade. And this is basically the early game of every round. You just try and take that control at any cost possible, but as soon as you have it, you're basically set up for the rest of the round as ITB is losing another member to Cheeky. Scav, it's Goes. Of course, playing with that big M4.
Oh, Blitzer Girl, however, will try to just manhandle these plays and takes down another player back to 3-on-3. Oh, little bit of love tap from the teammate. It's becoming more and more apparent, but then again, Blitzer came from the wrong side, so you can't blame him. As Walker sees someone move by, was it a friend or a foe? Nobody knows.
Heavy bleed though, so needing to stop that quite quickly before it gets too out of hand. And try and patch yourself back up for the final phase of this first part of the round. Of course, as soon as the capture points go on, it's spreading out the map in the playable area until someone is deciding to get themselves in there, because that's just speeding things up a whole lot. As long as you have this playing, you should be good for like the cleanup crew because it's very central. You're high up as well. It takes them some time to get there. More likely they'll run into everybody else first.
Yeah, especially Koa currently
Dar cu 3 gloanțele prin aripa aia, ca prin orice așa.
Really close to him. But as Chris goes down, it's Philbo, the man of the hour, and only 2 more opponents standing by. Time ticking as Blitzer Girl will also receive a little bit of fire his way, and then has to wait it out.
Asta și-a un glon să hilează, și-a un glon să hilează.
Trying to stay alive. Philbo losing their life in the meantime. There's about 10 seconds left on the clock before the cleanup crew comes in. So if you want to go capture, you want to do it quickly because if you're caught out in the open, the Valkyrie almost goes down, I believe, by a person prone on the ground. Ko on the ground indeed. Well, the cleanup crew is definitely coming out now, so they need to make a decision. Do we capture or do we try and hold off together?
Oh, there's Nate coming in for a little bit of a cheeky bounce, and it might be perfect, but Brax already moves in as Koa takes down Blitzer in the end. It's going to be Ascent taking the lead again, and this dance match is still continuing, going back and forth with Brax leading the charge. 9 frags on him, and goes as well on towards 9, so both teams still performing so equal to each other, and still the plane control is so paramount to everything.
I thought that grenade was really going to be getting the kill out there, but shot down before it was actually exploding. And you saw that final fight taken around a capture point when, the cleanup crew was about to be coming through. So they knew they needed to speed it up. None of them had the plane under control anymore, so you're not wanting to hold out on that as well. RGD5 grenade about to be tossed through. Terratex is looking to go quite aggressive, but all the wall bangs quite scare him off. He cannot really go through, as Blank will find cheeky scaff. So the entry will go to ITB.
The little bit of a ledge walk just to get an angle above the
Cine zice nu văd că câștigă? Bă, mie îmi place cum joacă la ITB gol ăla de la ei. De la ITB ăsta. Gol ăla. Joacă frumos.
Now we see Terratex just being taken out by Blank as they're trying to hunt down everything and everyone that's moving in that airplane. It's a 5 on 3. The pressure coming down. Ghost just says, I'll just continue wallbanging. It's what Koa wants to do from the outside as well, so why not, right?
I mean, you want to make sure no one's hiding out there. As someone comes into the back, Blitzer gets taken down by Braxton. Also opening up onto Blank right after, I believe there was definitely a second player that's taken a lot of damage there. 20 seconds before the capture points go on. They spot another player go next to the plane, and you want to wonder now, do you go for pre-fire or not with the MP9? As Ghost takes down Chris, Koa gets another team kill. We're having a second one coming in from Ascend, and again, might actually lose them an opportunity to get the second round ahead of themselves as he's being chased down by any member of ITB, who now soon have the opportunity to go for the capture point as well.
Oh no, Koa, second time already. Luckily not in a row, but still, it hurts a lot for you and your team and the confidence and the trust and everything in between. But ITB are capturing the point. 3, 2, 1. Koa spots one, but it's the wrong player. They still capture the point, and thus it will be back to a 4-on-4 half. This match is ever continuing.
It is going to keep going on, and it is just ITB that needs to try and find themselves a second round in a row so they can finally break that deadlock and get themselves ahead for a change. Because if this keeps on going, Ascend, they should be having themselves with the advantage. Ghost just putting up some quick Vaseline before pushing through.
Ăla n-auzeam, mă, că aleargă deasupra lui, mă, aia gârla aia.
It's the chaos, of course, of people trying to return but not having the right call-outs just yet because it's not all set in stone. And you see that it brings issues. Blank in the meantime takes down Cheeky Scaff, a beautiful headshot with the MP9 as Terratex is trying to move around the plane. I believe gets spotted out, but it's Chris tapping away one and Terratex taking out the other. Back to a 4-on-3. Ascent in the lead, but 4-on-1 is Ghost. Takes down another one. Back to even number. It's Ghost, of course, being tagged again in another firefight. He's already on towards the second magazine. Takes on Chris, takes
Cou ăla, fii atent, iară stă cotei, stă ultimul și iar l-omoară pe lui, fii atent. Fiți atent, mă.
He's definitely one of those players that you need to keep an eye out on for future tournaments. But if we look at the opposite side, Brax on the same side is also doing like 11 kills on 4 right now. So definitely putting up quite some numbers on the board. 20 seconds before these capture points open up. And we're in a 2-on-2, so I don't expect too much of a push to happen now from either of these two teams. One of them might want to actually get control of one part of that plane, so at least they have a bit of extra ground to play around with. And as extra stings and heals are now coming through, everybody basically will be back to full HP to go for that final fight.
Yeah, Koa still has a nade as well to work with, so possibly could toss that out to a point that when it becomes active. It's Walker again playing the long range despite being the agent, as Koa has pre-naded an angle, tries to move through and get control on towards the A point with a little bit of a window to check. Scared from every angle though, as Philbo is making
Ia să vedem, mai omoară la o dată pe lui. Supărat rău de tot pe el.
Tries to move through safely and securely, but
Tare
what he does
supărat.
not know is that Koa might know where he might be. And time is running out again. 15 seconds left. Koa makes noise. Okay, plane contested. They know top level. But will you be able to take the shot?
7 seconds before the cleanup crew comes through. Moves need to be made here, but ITB, they also realize this is a very good opportunity to get themselves around ahead, to get the second one in a row, but they're going for the capture point right now. Both of them are close, so all they need to do is just hold off the plane and make sure they're not being shut down by it. He cannot... Oh! As soon as he watches back, but he somehow still gets the kill!
Bă, ești prost!
Bravo!
Bravo!
Huge clutch finds ITB as he gets team kill, that doesn't matter, but the 5th round,
L-a omorât al
they
lui.
break the deadlock and they get themselves ahead.
He seemed to look away, in the moment he looks back, hip fires both players with a beautiful spray.
Bă, ce frumos i-a bătut, bă.
They are behind now in this match, ascent for the first time.
Bravo, băi, Fibu, băi.
Behind ITB. And this means that
Frumos,
everything
frumos,
can
frumos.
change in the rounds to come. ITB might get towards a map point, get a win on the board against Ascent, and maybe already put pressure on them, which they don't want. Long range from Chris here, looking for the cross, not able to connect just yet, but they might not know this angle even exists.
Trage bine Chris ăsta, dar nu azi.
Definitely putting out some fire there to try and support his team, pushing through, but as Blank takes down Cheeky Scav. ITB now looking to work on the advantage they have just managed to receive after that huge clutch from Philbo. Terror attacks bleeding as well, about to be losing both his legs. He finds one. The second person is coming around the corner as he needs to reload, so he quickly tries to run off. A flashbang, he just dodges it, so doesn't get caught off by it, and the pre-fires and the wall bangs all being attempted somehow. He escapes with his life until Blitzigo finds him.
Close,
and
close,
shuts him
close.
down.
Incredible stuff from Terratex once again, being the upfront player. But now it's a 4-on-3 ITB.
Asta iară stă cotei să-i omoare pe lui, bă. Băi, Koa, du-te, băi, și mori, băi, că tu i omori mapa ai tăi mereu. De 2 ori, mă, să-i omoare, mă. Da ceva.
Koa usually wanting to go for a little bit of control in the plane. And Ghost, of course, should be mindful of his ammo as well. 24 bullets left, and hey, what's that?
It's a splint, just to make sure that if you have a fracture, you can quickly heal it back up. Koa missing a lot of shots.
Bă, ăsta e prost rău ăsta, măi, Koa.
Takes a shot. He's going to be on a heavy bleed in the thorax right now. He needs to make sure he gets that patched up at some point, but also make sure that he's not being hunted down by the player that was quite close to him. And actually doesn't find him. Phil gets that kill. Only up to Chris now. 35 seconds to try and make sure that he's finding those 4 kills, or at least thins them out a little bit, as he's going to be holding for the capture point, because on your own, you do not want to go for a capture point. Everybody is going to be chasing you down. So his strategy should just be to hold it off.
And they know so on ITB, so they're looking what could be an
E punctul la ITB, la Balvaști. Punctul lor, ce să mă. Da, poate. Da, slabe șanse cu Chris ăsta. L-am lăudat, a jucat bine primele 2 runde și atât. Ia.
Shots here from Chris, but just not able to connect them in full. And now they know where this one player is, how they can take him down, and they're just running for the point. One gets taken out by Chris, 2 get taken down, and now it's a 2v1.
Unul acolo și unul în spate, Chrisule, hai.
Things can change.
It does. He's quickly getting his pistol as the secondary also spawning out the MP9 to at least have something to fight with here. Now he's healing himself back up. Chris still on the heavy bleed though that he's needing to fix because otherwise it's just going to be bleeding out at the end as he spots a player out there. Not sure if he got the head. No, didn't quite find it. The cleanup crew is definitely hunting him down now, so he needs to be very certain that he is going to be having an escape route right here. And as he's running down, hoping to escape with his live ITP, they might be fighting for the same thing.
Oh, Walker is. He's trying to shoot it out as Chris is spotting again a player, or
5 rounds.
And actually, someone from the cleanup crew, indeed, 5 rounds takes down one just to make sure to stay alive, and the other players are still trying to fight for the lives. And he's like, okay, I know that there will be one in Burger now, because, of course, it's being shot at.
Haide băi, rezistă băi, Chrisule.
Thing there, and we saw one of the players of ITB go down by the cleanup crew, so as Chris is just holding off. He's bleeding out! No! He bled out! That's what I was saying! He needs to take care of it!
He was hoping to stall time, but he didn't have anything to stop the bleeding.
N-au avut, mă, n-au avut să oprească bleeding-ul. Acum a jucat bine, critică fraierul.
ITB takes another round, goes towards match point in a 6-4 situation. One more round and they bring Ascend to a 0-2 themselves.
Îmi dat headshot de la al doilea. Dacă îl mai pui să mai dă o dată, nu mai dă. Nici el nu știe cum a dat.
It is going to be that match point for ITB right now. Grenades coming out again from Blitzigal, hoping to find someone. Never really seen it. There's that pickup I was talking about. There is a gun on the ground. You can find this. Cheeky Scab goes aggressive. Brax will get a kill into Blank as well. And suddenly Ascend find themselves at a 2-minute advantage.
Like they know where the wall banks will be. They know what the playstyle will be from ITB on every round. And just move past that and get close and you have the MP9 advantage. The full auto short range. Just burst them down as soon as possible. And now it is a 5-on-3.
Cred că bă, un meci foarte strâns. Un meci foarte strâns.
Just saw a blue armband walk by there. It's like, no, that's not the right thing. Fibo will take him down. Brings it back to a 4-on-3. Now, the big problem of that last round has been found. Now they need to find the other problems, especially Brax. It's been doing quite well with the MP9. He's being shot down from the backfield, but we'll find Cheeky Scav 3-on-3.
3-3.
But steadily, that early disadvantage has been found, has been taken care of. And in 20 seconds, those capture points will open up.
And it's just a little bit of a waiting game again. Just when the timer reaches 20 seconds, the teams slow down. They know that there will be pressure elsewhere as Ghost tries to go for another juicy one-tap, unable to connect it though. And the point will open up, but still playing control in favor of Ascent. And that will only give them more and more
3-3, haide mă, luați avantajul.
So he has to transport himself to the other side, as Ghost, I believe, is still trying to hold down his position.
Just trying to hold off. They have an idea where one or two of these players are, so just spots a leg out there, hopes to take the fight, takes a little bit of damage to the arm, but nothing lethal. Can still continue fighting. Of course, also some time to heal back up, so he's going to do exactly that. With the cheese kit, Stereotex will find Filbo though, so again, Ascend find themselves with a little advantage in the round. 7 seconds left before we are headed towards cleanup.
And we see Stereotex just still trying to hold this down as Walker is having a longer angle, goes close underneath the belly of the plane, and it might mean that Walker will want to move in towards the point relatively soon, the moment they actually notice there's going to be a fight from Ascend with the cleanup crew. Oh my god.
I mean, the cleanup crew will be coming after the people that make the most noise, right? Like that, they're just trying to find whoever they can. And oh, there's 2 players out there. The drop comes through. Gets the kill to Kowo. The second player dropping after it. Brax will find Go. So at least the trade's there. Walker, the last man standing, is taking some shots. Finds a player inside the belly of that plane. Needs to quickly head out as he reloads the MP9, hoping to reposition himself as he is quite known now. Capture started for just a second out there. He knows the player's out there. Also see them now, but gets taken now by Brax to Ascend. They live another round.
They stay alive just a little longer. They might be actually able to close the gap in the next round, 6-5. And this one was chaotic. Ascend took that early pressure, moving in so incredibly close. But this turnaround from Ghost just moving around like a ballerina.
De la roșii, la albaștri, Ghost ăla, nu mai zi nimic, e topul.
Definitely took some damage on there, but it served its purpose at that moment. And this is a very important round. Either Ascend is going to be putting us to 6-6, a tiebreaker match point, or we are going to see ITB just lock it off and bring us up to... Oh, early kill from Chris into Ghost. This is a very important one to take down.
Is the big head armor also being gone with the blackjack going out? And Ghost usually being the big player for his team. Luckily Walker with the long range able to take down Kowo.
Știu, trec cu 9 are la Kowo acum. Vai de mine.
Until the end of the round as Philbo gets taken out on range by the MP9. SMG still work on range.
Small advantage here for Ascend. A single extra body on the ground. And they know that if they lose this round, if it somehow slips away from them, it's a second loss they are receiving inside the group stage. It's not the best of starts that you want to have. This Blaine going prone on the back of the plane. He's just holding, waiting for some angle. It's actually a friendly that he was seeing down there on the left bottom of his screen, I believe. This is the entirety of... no, it was actually an enemy out there. Terratex finds Blitzago. Blank not quite able to respond fully. Just put out a couple of shots at him. But he's been seeing those legs the entire time. Finds the kill. A second person pushing him on the right. He needs to reload quickly, but Cheeky Scav will turn him down.
Băi, ăștia, după 10 glonțe, gata, încărcarul. Să vedeai și pe ăla că vine. Doamne. Puteai să joci mai bine, bro.
The objective has just opened right now, and he's looking for the first player in the airplane. Takes him out. It's Brex falling, and he knows where the point is. Tries to go for the wallbang as it's instantly being captured, but Cheeky will just find the angle. Takes down Walker.
Nice try, bro.
Two equal numbers. Hap, it's going to be 6-6. And suddenly, everything is possible.
It's really down to this last round now. Whoever will win this is going to be taking those points, is going to be taking that victory with them in those standings. And it's been a very close fought match so far. And it's still doable for either of those. And I think it will really go down to whoever is going to be getting those very first kills into the airplane. And you see the Descent is rushing with 3 men right on. They want to get control of that Terratex in front with the MP9. They need to be careful because Ghost has been pre-firing this the entire time. So they're not going to be quite able to go through as Brax will take blank.
That's going to be 5-4, and just rushing in doesn't work this time for Terratex, as Ghost still had enough bullets. Maybe he hoped he would be reloading.
Și următoarele meciuri să le găsiți pe Twitch. Pe BSG. Nu mai pot îmi pică ochii în gură, nu mai am pic de energie.
But Kowo will try to respond, finally hitting his marks earlier on in the round and trying to get to grasp with the game.
Cheeky trying to dance around of that
Oricum, m-a mers mai bine al doilea meci, adică am mai avut și niște point of view-uri, am mai avut și ceva mai, vă zicem. Ce mi se pare foarte ciudat că e foarte mult, cel puțin pe harta asta e foarte mult wallbang.
Going up to the top, I believe I might have just heard something roll through, but he knows that someone is up on the top floor, so he's trying to push that, holding the angle. If they move just out of reach, should be a kill for him.
And you know it will be Ghost, because if there's so many bullets flying by, it can only be one player who has such a crazy amount. Again, being heavily hit in the meantime, having only 27 bullets left in his magazine, expending a few more, and that's risky, because you know the end game is coming and you still would need him. Cheeky Scav trying to move around, might go to the lower part of the plane again, as we do see players moving around the objective already. Kowo is trying to move in slowly, looking at the belly of the plane, where Ghost is standing by. 6 bullets.
He's going to have to pick up a gun from someone else as soon as he is going to be running out of it. So that's actually what he's doing at that point. 2 rounds left in Ghost magazine as Walker takes quite some shots. Is actually almost going down from the thorax there. And as soon as you lose a limb, you get shot in it. You take double the damage out there. So it's really important that you keep them up, or at least protected. As Break from Kowo is going to be coming out. That might be very crucial in taking down the player that's defending the area. No! Different A bounces back up the scoreboard. And Kowo gets taken out by Walker. Cheeky will find him in return though. He's trying to go for the capture himself as Blitzer will shut him down. And it's Chris now washing over with the SKS. He's not quite hitting the shots. He needs to reposition himself, but that means they also know where he is. He's taking quite a lot of damage. It goes down. ITB win the map, win the game.
Incredible stuff here from ITB to clutch it out in the end. Again, this round seemed to be able to go any way possible.
Ia vezi bă că aia chiar era fată.
Eventually bring it back, bring it in towards their favor, 7-6 from a very convincing map.
Bă băieți, eu am fost OCM-ul, Îmi pare rău că nu pot să stau cu voi până la final, să ne mai râdem aici, să mai comentăm împreună. Sunt rup de somn, vreau să mă bat la somn. Am zis că vreau să stau până de seară, dar aparent nu am nicio șansă. Mă bag la somn și eu și poate de seară când mă trezesc, dăm drumul la un live. Jucăm și noi un Tarkov, facem misiunea asta nouă. Probabil o să mai urmeze și câteva misiuni după aia. Adică nu cred că o să fie singura, cred că iarăși o să fie un set de misiuni. Și îmi pare rău încă o dată că nu pot să mai stau. Am zis și eu că mă ambiționez să stau cât mai mult ca să-mi revin cu programul, dar n-am nicio șansă. Până atunci am fost OCM-ul și vă pup. Vă mulțumesc frumos că ați fost alături de mine în astea 2 meciuri. Numai bine, sănătate și ne vedem diseară.